Welcome back to the West Ham Network. You've just witnessed West Ham. Yes, you have just witnessed West Ham score a late dramatic equaliser against Newcastle thanks to a fantastic goal from Mohamed Kudus. Honestly, it's a worldie. It's an absolute worldie. What a game for a neutral fan to watch. Honestly, really, what a game. And I think that performance today as a whole was like a game of two halves, really, wasn't it? I thought West Ham had a really good first half, and I thought we had a bang average second half, but we came into it at the end, and actually, in fact, we could have gone on and won it. Look what I've done during that game. I've destroyed my house setting, but I'm absolutely buzzing with that. You know, the high fly in Newcastle, a team we struggled with in recent years, especially at home. You know, think about how much we were destroyed last year at the London Stadium last season, and then we can turn it around by turning up a performance like that, and a few little defensive errors allowed them to get back into the game. But Kudus has saved our skin today, and the man has made a dramatic impact since signing for the club. He looks like he is ready to rock and roll, and I don't know what else he can do really, but to get a start, he is ready to make a start for West Ham. He's exciting. He's flamboyant. He's just got a little bit of va-va-voom. He's the ball-carrying player. He really complements our side extremely well. He complements everything about what we can do in a West Ham shirt, and he's really got loads going for him. And I'm excited. I'm excited about him. I really am excited about the prospect of bringing him into the starting 11. But as a whole, I thought, you know, going 1-0 up against Newcastle, against the options that they've got. You know, Isaac all game was their problematic player. He was really good. He was the only one really that offered a threat coming out of the game in the first half, when it was, for me personally, I felt like it was West Ham's game to lose within that first half in particular. And I thought we had the better opportunities, and we just played well. You know, we actually played decent. And the funny thing is, when you look at the first half stats, if you look at the ball possession, it was 70% possession to Newcastle to West Ham's 30%. And they had more shots to our shots, but our expected goals in the game was over 1 in the first half. So we really took the game to Newcastle. We really opened them up a little bit, in particular in the first half. But like I said, the only threat really was going to be a player like Isaac. And he's such a good player because what he does is he switches his play quite a lot. He comes onto the byline and then he goes forward and sits on top of the keeper. And that's really where he got his both goals from. But what we struggled with in particular, especially coming out the late part of the first half, but going into the second half, was the two fullbacks weren't watching their markers, because they were Dan Burn and Kieran Trippier were getting loads of space down the left and right hand sides, in behind Soufal and in behind Emerson, and then they were turning around and firing the ball up over the top of our defenders, and they were getting in behind, and that's how they really got back into the game. But do you know what? It was an all-round performance today. It really was an all-round performance from us, and to turn up even at home against the likes of Newcastle, when a lot of people would have doubted us, they really would have, and to get something from the game is huge, and to be in contention for this game is huge. And if we can do something against Aston Villa when we come back from the international break, then yeah, I mean, there's lots of positives to take. There is positives to take from today. I thought everyone turned up and done a professional job. A couple of outstanding performances, a couple of other players. Some players stood out more than the rest. But a shout out to Emerson. I think Emerson's really came into this team and he's given us a breath of fresh air down that left-hand side. He loves to get forward, but he's also a really good tackler of the ball. But I love his ability to get forward and work as part of that unit between the kind of interlinking play between, say, Paqueta, who drops in all different positions, Edson Alvarez, who comes in the middle of the park and just tidies up absolutely everything. He's so effective at his job. His game today, 90 minutes. He played, at 37 touches, so not a lot, but there were effective touches. He had 92% accuracy with his passes today. He was successful with 95% of his long balls. He was successful with over 50% of his ground duels. He won 100% of his aerial duels. But a key fact for you to understand about Alvarez today was he only lost possession twice in this game, in the first half in particular, we turned over the ball really well. We won first balls, we won second balls. We didn't do that a lot in the second half, but it wasn't coming from the fact it was Edson Alvarez. He was really effective, doing everything about the job, going about his business, doing what he needs to do to get the job done. He made several tackles, he made several clearances, he was fouled a lot in the game as well, but I think a player like Alvarez is really key to a West Ham team, like he really is. And another shout out goes to Tommy Soucek. I mean, the guy bangs in another goal for West Ham. He's enjoying this kind of flourishing back into the old days of Tommy Soucek pushing forward in a West Ham shirt. But he only had 19 touches. He only had 19 touches in the game today. One goal he scored. His pass accuracy was 57%. He lost possession 6 times from those 19 touches, 13 times he was successful with the ball. But I think he just does, again, going about his business. That's the kind of benefit for me with this team, is there's a lot of players that go under the radar and they just want to go under the radar. And that really allows players like, say, Paqueta to flourish in a West Ham shirt. I mean, he gets involved so much. If I read you his game stats, the amount of times he's involved in everything from front to end, it's ridiculous. 61 touches, 72% pass completion rate, 1 key pass. Accuracy for long balls was over 75%. He won a third of his ground duels. He won 2/3 of his aerial duels. He did lose possession 19 times, but he was fouled 3 times. He had 1 clearance, 1 interception. He made several tackles in the game. That's definitely interesting. A few talking points, though, was Gumieres. In the first half in particular, he picked up a yellow card for a foul against one of our players. And very quickly after that, he picked up a very blatant, in my opinion, should have been a second yellow card and should have been off the park. He should have been sent off. He should have been sent off. But the referee, I don't understand. It was right in front of the referee and he gave him a talking to. But when you look back at it, you can see his studs were showing on the player's foot. Got nowhere near the ball and he brought the player down. And that's what's really frustrating about these kind of decisions, because that's a big game-changing decision. And then the referee starts booking players for dissent over minor things, like telling the referee to book a player. Like you book Emerson for that, but you don't book Guimaraes for an actual physical, blatant foul on the park. Like it's decisions like that are ridiculous. Like I don't understand the consistency in what they're trying to do in the Premier League. Like 1 minute you're seeing referees decide that that's dissent for showing them a yellow card for doing that, and then you let a blatant foul go unearthed in front of you. I thought we dealt with the threat. It was definitely a midfield battle today, wasn't it? The ball was played through Tonali, Guimaraes, Longstaff, Soucek, Bowen, Ward-Prowse, Alvarez, Paqueta. It was all about those players today. And where Isaac got into us, like I said in the first half, in particular, was the fact that he dropped out wide and then went through the middle. That was where I found him becoming a problem. If you look back at the match live, you'll hear me say he's the only problem. He's causing us a concern. He's skipping by Soufal, no problem. And he's getting at our defence on a regular occasion, and we're struggling to deal with that threat. And he popped up and scored 2 goals, in particular, in the first half. Something I will say, though, is Alfonso Areola's distribution was phenomenal today. It really was. It was a fantastic performance from him in terms of his distribution. He pinged the ball forwards. He was making really good connections. And in actual fact, sometimes, if you think about it, I think it was in the second half in particular, he cleared the ball from his foot and it found it skipped past like 8 Newcastle players. It fell onto the lap of Paqueta in the middle of the park. No one was there. Paqueta turned and went at the Newcastle defence. So lots of positives to take, some negatives to take from the game. But all in all, we've walked away with a point against Newcastle, again, where people would put our backs against the wall and say, nah, we're not going to turn up and do a job against the team of Newcastle standard, especially coming off the back of a victory of 4-1 against PSG in the Champions League. Byron, the video maker, says, come on, you Irons. Michael says, will the Premier League get Premier League standard refs? So we should be down to 10 men in the 18th minute. Kudus, absolutely, Shyamalan. Irons from Gary J. Kudus, you little beauty. What a goal. What a goal. Do you know what? Again, going back to that goal, when you think of the vision, it's very basic. Ball gets pinged from Areola to Zuma. Zuma quickly is under pressure from 2 players, but he finds a pass out wide right to Soufal. and you've got to give Soucek credit where credit's due. He's ran about another 30, 40 yards. He's put his head up. He's put a ball in between the defenders onto the path of Kudus, who's taken a touch. It's bounced up in front of him, and he hit it on the volley into the back of the net from 18 yards out. It's an unbelievable goal from Kudus, and it's another assist for Vladimir Soucek. Subs made way too late yet again from Dino Dave. Kudus still isn't the Premier League ready to start, though, according to him. I think he will. I think he's got to, especially for the Aston Villa game, parking the bus at the second half. Nothing new. Hopefully this ref will end up in... God. The ref was awful, gave Emerson a card for asking for one, then 10 minutes later Almiron did the same thing and didn't get a booking. Yeah, it's no consistency, unfortunately. Kudus, Mohamed, unbelievable. Kudus should definitely be starting over Antonio, period. I actually predicted the Desmond score. Fair enough, considering we looked very leggy second half. Terrible officiating. The 12th man for them. Kudus showing why he has to start. Yeah, I've got to say, I think the refereeing was not great at all. It really wasn't. Dan Fandango's in the house. Moyes needs to drop Agerd and Antonio pronto. 3 massive mistakes from Agerd now. And Antonio just offers so little limits us. Kudus and Dinos have to come in. I thought, do you know what? I agree with you in terms of Antonio. I thought he had a good first half. But he struggled to get into it. But he did, in his game, he had 8 attempts at ground duels and he won 5 of them, and he won 50% of his aerial duels as well. He was fouled a lot, 4 times in the full game, but 22 touches. Not really effective in West Ham scoring goals, but his hold-up play really did help West Ham in the first half in particular. He is going to be a worldie. Kudus definitely is. Moyes should have played Kudus from start. Look what he can do. Antonio washed up. Alan Dunn says Moyes goal from a penalty. The compares said it was it wasn't a penalty. Ref was the usual shit. The goal from the penalty. Even the compares said it wasn't a penalty. My number 1 star man, Kudus. Absolutely fair result. Considering we looked very leggy second half. Terrible officiating. The 12th man for them. Kudus showing why has to start. No idea who was there first. Was not offside. Drew says overall can't stop thinking we would have a fair chance coming up with 3 if Kudus was starting. I think for me now, I don't think there's any question why he should start. I think he's got to start. I think that game alone and the performances he's been putting in for West Ham has proven that now it's time for Kudus to start. And I don't think should be any other option. The only other problem you've got with that would be Moyes' mindset of going impact. He's making an impact from the bench. And would that be enough for him to start him? It might be a ridiculous mindset that people might think, but we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. 2 attacking minded for Moyes to start him from the off. Kudus look awesome. He did. Shyamalan, yep, Kudus. Alan Dunn, why are you on about there getting a penalty? Can we get a nice letter from Guarino from the PGM OL? The free kick that Issa scored, his second from Alan. Stop talking what he's talking about. Why do we always concede between 45 and 50 minutes? They need to be awake starting the second half because we're not awake for the second half. I don't know why, actually. It's funny because we seem to concede in those most dangerous times of the game in the second half, and it seems to be when teams can get at us, and it's like we drop our heads a little bit. It's like we pat ourselves in the back in the first half, we come out and we take 10-15 minutes to get started in the second half, and I don't really know why it takes us so long in that position as well. DJ Russie B is coming on very, very shortly, so just bear with us while we get him set up. When he does come on, I am going to leave yous because I've got a thing I need to attend. And so he's going to come on and give you his opinion very, very shortly. Let me see if I can bring him on just now, actually. DJ Russie B.
Evening.
Buzzing with that?
Disappointing we didn't have all 3 points, to be honest, mate. To be perfectly honest.
But considering where we were, about to walk away, losing the game. I mean, What a finish. What a finish.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's one of those sort of textbook finishes, isn't it? I mean, Kudus comes on and just gives that extra burst of energy we needed. It was very much sort of drifting. The game was drifting. And, exactly what you wanted, mate.
Ross, I'm going to leave you now because I do need to head. Right, okay? Enjoy.
Okay. Lucky people. You've got me now, although I just realised I can't see any of the... Give me 2 seconds, because I just realised can I get comments? Yes, just about. Okie dokie. Right, okie doke. Okay, right, so, which I just realised because I'm not set up for the comments, but anyway, regardless of that, what did we think? I mean, I was disappointed. I thought the ref was absolutely atrocious, my friends. Just absolutely rubbish. And I think that really really. Like, can I close that? Yeah. I thought the ref was really. I'm going to go on another channel. Right, so I'm not another channel. Stay there. I'm just going to literally jump off. Stay there for 2 seconds, peeps. I'm going to get off there. I'm just going to jump onto the other thing so I can actually see you all. 2 seconds, my peeps. There we go. That's better. I can see the comments now. I can see the comments. Speaks to fans. We want to hear their opinions about Kudus. We would, but everyone's really buggered off, mate, to be honest. But I'm here. That's the main thing. And I'm here to take your comments and take your thoughts. Martin, hope you're well. So, what did we think, guys? You know, honestly, about that. I mean, as I said to Anton, just as he left, I was really disappointed. We shouldn't have lost that game. A point, maybe a fair result, in all honesty, with both sides. But yeah, no, I think it's for me. It seems that it was frustrating that we didn't walk away with all 3 points. Particularly first half, I thought we were absolutely not dominating the game, but I thought Newcastle were very poor. There was definitely a hangover from Paris for sure, and obviously. Another fantastic goal. How many good goals are we scoring at the moment? That was a beautiful goal. Fantastic ball from Paqueta. Inch perfect for Emerson. And then just the simplest tap-in for Tommy Soucek, who I thought first half had a good game. I think he waned a little bit in the second half. I thought Paqueta was mesmeric, as always. Pete makes a very good point. We're so slow off the mark at the moment. I mean, as every game now this season, I reckon that we've come out so slow, and that gives the other team an impetus. It gives the other team they can turn up and go. They just come out the trap second half, and we're not. And that's the second time, or third time, fourth time, fifth time that's happened. I don't get it. We were sort of, I'd say, to be honest, first half, we were plain sailing that first half, in all honesty, in my humble opinion. And then it just went, and then they had a little bit of emphasis, and that was it. But even when it was 2-1, I still thought we were going to get another goal. Obviously, VAR was checked on the Isaac first goal, but obviously it came off Alvarez, so that's why it counted. Exactly, lack of competition, concentration. But it's if it happens once, then it's okay. But it's happened half a dozen times this season now, so something's got to happen. They've got to sort their half times out. That's what they've got to do. Because at the end of the day, it's not working, is it? It's not working at all. Doku is at 993 minutes of Man City. Kudus 320. It's pretty similar. I mean, I thought that what I liked about Kudus, he gave us a different option. Where we would go down the channels where Antonio was, that wasn't a case when Kudus was in. We was very much whipping balls in, and I like the fact that Kudus was in the middle. He was playing almost like a 10. You know what I mean? So there you go. Johnny Mack, come on, you guys. We have Moyes in the dressing room. I'm not sure he would get me rolled up, but they got Kevin Nolan and they got Johnny Heitinger. And I don't think Johnny Heitinger is a shrinking violet, neither is a Kevin Nolan. So it really has surprised me that they come so timid out second half, you know. And whether it means, you know, because we try and whether we're playing all clever bollocks, you know, in terms of, you know, the other team were at Newcastle were out for a minute or so before we came out. Don't do it then. Go out first, warm up, make sure you're ready for it. It's not working. Results TV Papa Ellie. After Kudus and the other guy came on, you saw the pressure come down. Well, you could see they were panicking when Kudus came on, and obviously he got the goal. And you know, we're a bit similar to there. They scored, and obviously they scored one and then scored a second very quickly. And you saw a similar thing happening with us. We scored one, and clearly Eddie was a little bit worried about us getting a second. Hence why he whacked on. What's his face? Took it. They brought another defender on. Pete, has Kudus got a release clause? As when he starts regularly, he'll be scoring a lot. Tell you what, he's always mustering. But in a weird way, hear me out, I like him as an impact player. Do you know what I mean? He gives us that shot of energy when we need it. Because at the moment, I thought first half, you know, you did the 4-1-4-1 type thing. I thought we played really well. And then there's the second half, as always, we just come out of trap so slowly. Ben Rama came on for good Kudus. Some nice little footwork, nice little set-up play. You see when he comes on, Emerson springs to life again, and so does Paqueta. Three of them love each other. This is a good result against 12 man Newcastle. It was like that, wasn't it? Particularly when you watch the foul, which led to the free kick. Shouldn't have happened. That was a bloody good and I think the ref ruined the game, really, because there were some really good battles, like midfield battles, and he didn't let the game play, and that's the trouble. That sort of the Paqueta Tonoli sort of grapple, which then the referee gave as a free kick, which then they scored from. I think that should have been a foul. They were scared of us. Indeed, they were. He pushed the ball away from Ben Rama. Last second, which put off a shot. You're right. Could have easily scored. And that would have been a turnaround for the books. West Ham are no big clubs, says Jonathan. Unbelievable, Jeff. And you know what, we've got 26 points to go. Yeah, Jonathan, I think you had 12 men. I think it's fair to admit you did have 12 men today. Let's be honest. I thought the ref should have sent off Bruno after 18 minutes. Should have sent him off. He's already on a yellow. I thought he was lucky to stay on the pitch. It's almost like we were all trying to get booked. Do you know what I mean? There was just so many bookings, and it got a bit feisty in that first half, didn't it? And I think particularly when you look at Bruno, I think Bruno is very low. I was surprised we didn't get a sending off at all in that game. There was so much needle, wasn't there? And it does seem to be very much in the favour of Newcastle rather than Mighty Hammers. But 2-2, probably on reflection, probably a fair result on reflection, I'd suggest. But gutted that we didn't win because we had enough there to win it, and we should have. And again, when we went up, we sat back. Really, we should have pushed forward. We would have got. I think they were proper rattled. You could see they were still knackered from, or there was a hangover from the PSG game, that's for sure. And then I think if you'd got a couple of quick goals, I think it would have been an easy day. I really think. I think that's 2 points dropped. Really is, which shows how far we've come. That I'm thinking we've dropped 2 points against Newcastle, who are a Champions League side. Subs came in too late. I think the subs came as a result of the goal. I think Moyes was quite happy with the side, but I agree. You could see it building. You could see the pressure building. Ariel did that great save just before the first goal, and that's when you need to act. But we never seem to. It's always as a reaction rather than being proactive. It's always reactive, and that's just Moyes. So it's never going to change. Bias referee was never a foul on Sharoon, and Bruno should have been sent off. Happy result, Newcastle strong team. Kudus to start. It's no brainer. Yuri, that's the question is, yes, I agree about Kudus being a starter. Who does he replace? Who's he replace inside? Because, ain't being funny, Thomas Soucek's playing all right at the moment. Thomas Soucek's playing all right. Alvarez is playing all right. JWP is playing all right. So, and I think when you lose Antonio, we lost Antonio. And do you know what? Actually, that's a good shout. If you swapped out Kudus for Antonio, Paqueta played definitely more up front, didn't he? He played he pushed forward as a striker, which meant he was hurting in the final third. That might be the key to Paqueta. That you might be on something, Gary. That might be the key. Well, the thing is, but then Peter, the thing is, when the subs are ready, then you're taking off two guys who defend, and we had a few. There was a corner and then a corner their side, wasn't it? So that's why it always takes so long. Should we play Pete Banks? Pete Banks. That sounds like spell check, mate. WESTHAM fans, you got better. Okay, thanks, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us, mate. What time's your tea, mate? Ask your mum. Antonio was rubbish. Kept throwing himself on the floor. There's throwing yourself on the floor like Antonio does, or there's like theatrics like Paqueta. And it does frustrate me how often Antonio gets out-muscled by people who are much physically weaker than him. It makes no sense at all. The man is built like a brick shit house, but he acts like a paper house. I don't know if I just made that out. A house of straw. He acts like a house of straw. That's better. This last year was a blip for Soucek. He's back to his own self. I thought Soucek was very good. Took his goal well. Some nice footwork. Didn't give away the ball too obviously that I can remember. I thought he played really bloody well. Really well. Mate is so deep. I mean, so deep. Whose play would that be? Whose tactics is that? I wonder why he does this. I will never know. Because that's the way he plays Doghouse. He doesn't know. Moisey doesn't know any different, and he won't know no different. So we're never going to play expansive football when he's here. We'll play tight, keep it, risk adverse. That's the way we'll always play. Granted, we should have definitely gone for the jugular. Plays okay. We're plays where we're not being pressed. Peter Banks the ref. Okay, I get you, Pete. Thank you, Guillermo. Can't agree. Still see him as a weak link despite his goal today, which my nan could have tapped in. John, I think you see. I think the trouble is, I think someone said that blip with Soucek. I think everyone's got this sort of downer on Soucek now. I thought he was really good today. And again, it's different opinions. That's your opinion, John. But I think the trouble is, we've always seen this sort of like assumption of Soucek being really poor and a weak link. I don't think he really is. I think the Soucek you see now is the Soucek we bought, and the Soucek last year was not the Soucek that we all get, because he's so much better now. Jonathan, so what have your club won? And yeah, exactly, Jonathan. It was at the 60s that you last won a trophy. So yeah, so just shushy time. Right, what we got here? West Ham have an archaic manager who stuck to one tactic. Why bench Kudus? Well, Kudus comes on and gets the equaliser. So, not saying. I mean, I'd start Kudus. It would be dropping Antonio, but we know Moyes ain't going to do it. So, nothing to do about that, my friend. I stayed up for this game. Was not disappointed. Good game. Great game for the neutrals. What we got? Ref was a joke. Should have been 9 men. Should definitely been. Yeah, I mean, Bruno should have definitely been sent off. Out of shadow of a doubt. Some people dig out Soucek just for doing sake. He's doing his job and he's scoring goals. And we forget, Trini, we never bought him as a goal-scoring midfielder. We bought him as a defensive midfielder or a box-to-box, guy who runs over, not a guy who scores goals. So he's doing a lot better, I think. Nice to make you tell it like it is. No, this is my opinion, mate. Everyone's got an opinion. Everyone is welcome to it. And I think it's healthy that we've all got different opinions. If we had the same opinion, it'd be bloody boring. So for me, it's like I just think Soucek deserves a bit more credit. I'm not saying he's gonna take Paqueta out of the side, but for what for his role, for the job he does, I think he does it very well. And I think you're seeing now the resurgence in Tommy Soucek because he's the shackles are off a little bit because the fact that Deck's not around anymore, and I think he was overshadowed by Deck. We know that. We know the fact that Deck was playing more forward, and when he played more forward, that Soucek was half the player. I mean, if you went back and looked at the ratings we gave him last season compared to this season, it's at least 40%, 50% up. That to me shows that he's a better player. Everyone will put a 7+ performance, decent. We'll do the ratings tomorrow, Rani. I'm sure you'll have an opinion, so as everyone else. So they'll be done later on tomorrow lunchtime. So if you're watching now, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, comment, share, and make sure you join me tomorrow for the live show at lunchtime, where we'll be doing in the UK 12:30, and we'll be doing the ratings. Then obviously we enter the international break, don't we? So, but don't worry, we've got you covered. We've got some nice content, got some different things, some interviews. Trying to get a couple of ex-player interviews on as well to keep you ticking over. And as I said, we've still got 24 points to go for the big 40. Kudus is going to be a legend. I hope so. I bloody well hope so, mate. A few more, and I'm going to go because my signal's going to drop out in a minute. Once we've got a couple of decent strikers, mate, I've been saying it for the last 2 years. We're a striker away from being a very, very good side, a proper striker away. But it's got to be the right striker. It's got to be a striker that will fit the system, not a good striker, not any striker. You know, you need someone who's going to run the channels. You need someone who's going to have pace. Who's going to be clinical when he gets chances. He's not going to get hundreds of chances. And so that, to me, is critical. It's not about getting a Scarmacker on paper that was a fantastic. It just didn't work. Didn't work the system. Haller didn't work the system. You know, bloody Javier Hernandez, different system, but didn't work. So, yeah. Bone had an off day. Big Bone was a bit man-marked, to be honest, which gave others more space. This is what we all want. Yeah. We'll have to agree this week, mate. No problem at all. I'm not Soucek's. I mean, I'm not Soucek's greatest fan. But when he plays well, I'll give him credit. When he plays shit, I'll give him credit. Same as everyone. You know. Yeah. Bone was off today. I thought Zuma sort of missed the runner of Isaac. You know, for the second goal. So, but you know, we come away with a point. I think it's probably a fair result when you look at both sides. Newcastle are, Champions League side who narrowly absolutely caned, wasn't they? A very poor PSG. I think people have looked at that saying it was a very poor PSG side. They didn't play well at all, but they took advantage of that, and I think we should have taken advantage a bit more against Newcastle. We should have definitely easily got 3 points. Late subs again, 10 minutes too late. Well, they were ready about 8 minutes before they went on, but you don't want to take off Soucek for Kudus when you're trying to defend a corner. Just basic football, but I know what you mean. Kudus will get at least 20 to 30 games this season. You're probably right. So I thought it said goals. I was going to laugh. Still didn't lose indeed, and also scored again. First time since 1968-69 we have scored in all 11 of our first games of the season. If we score against Villa when we come back to the international break, then that will be 12 in 12, which beats the 68-69. And I think then it goes to 64-65, which we actually, but 64-65, they scored in their first 24 home games. Absolutely mental. Right, what we got? We have a few more and they've got to go. We need something better. What we got here? Kudus. Sorry. Kudus won't be a legend because he's sitting on the bench, get the hump. I think he will. I think Kudus will be used not sparingly, but I think this year is going to be trying to find where he fits in. I mean, he's been playing right wing when he's come on. Today he came on and played more as an 8, I think, more as an 8 or a 10 really, and I think that suited him more. Then Bowen was out on the right. I think it worked really well. Pushed Paqueta up. I mean, Paqueta's 6 foot, isn't he? So a bit of height. I think it worked well. So we'll see what happens going forward. At least that little last one. Yeah, I mean, when Callum Wilson came on, I thought, oh, here we go. You know he's going to get the winner, but he got absolutely booed out of the park, which I absolutely loved. Absolutely loved. Villa now, yeah, I mean, I think if we get points against Villa away, they're, to me, the likes of Villa and the likes of Newcastle are the ones who are going to be in our mini league this year. So, look, get some points with them away, and then it's Everton, isn't Everton at home? And yeah, anyway, I'm going to go to my